Madam President Rajavi, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to be sharing this panel today with such distinguished personalities and with such an enduring audience too. And I am delighted to see that we all agree that the fate of Ashraf residents is not a marginal issue involving only them and their supporters, but it is a matter of life or death for the credibility of international law, for the rule of law in itself, and for the sacred honor and the fundamental principles not only of the United States of America, but for all the countries, mine included, who in good faith sent their troops to Iraq in the past years. It is essential to make it clear that the Iranian regime is engulfed in domestic and international crisis. Since the beginning of the new year, 28 people have been hanged by this evil regime. Despite severe repression, signs of public discontent have grown throughout the country. The ruling theocracy, in order to preserve its system, resorts to further attacks to political dissidents and to numerous terror operations abroad, especially into Iraq, and acquires nuclear weapons trying to intimidate the international community also in order to divert the attention of the Iranian public opinion. This regime is not only a major enemy of the Iranian people, but it is also a serious threat for the world peace, security, stability, and development. I am proud to say that the majority of members of both houses of the Italian Parliament signed documents agreeing with Mrs. Mariam Rajavi, President of the political coalition NCRI, on how to deal with this regime that is imposing, on one hand, oil and gas sanctions against the ruling dictators, and on the other hand, supporting the Iranian people and their organized resistance to change this regime for democracy. And Italy is among those who are leading the way towards strong European Union sanctions as itself. Now, some 3,400 members of the PMOI, the main organized oppositions to the Iranian regime, have been lawfully residing as refugees in Camp Ashraf for the past 25 years. And during this time they transformed this barren piece of land into a modern town. Despite written assurances given to the United States, Iraqi forces twice attacked them in 2009-2011, clearly as a consequence of Tehran's regime pressures, leaving 47 residents killed and hundreds injured. Despite the residents' legal right to remain at Ashraf in order to prevent another attack, Madam Rajavi in December persuaded them to accept the relocation to Camp Liberty, provided there were minimum guarantees for their protection and well-being by the United States, United Nations, and European Union. For sure it was a difficult decision, but one that has displayed to the international community not only Mrs. Rajavi's outstanding leadership, but her uncommon wisdom and long-sightedness as statesperson. Nevertheless, Iraq broke its commitments and has prevented a group of residents from relocating to Camp Liberty with their vehicles and personal property. It also denied access to Camp Liberty for a smaller group to inspect the site before the transfer begins. Our committee of members of the Italian Parliament has supported the United Nations deal to relocate the residents to new camp based on the assurances provided by Mr. Kobler and U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Our committee finds the transfer of the residents to Camp Liberty unacceptable unless the minimum demands announced by Mrs. Rajavi are implemented. The residents' representatives must be given 48 hours advance access to Camp Liberty for inspections of the site, and the residents must be permitted by Iraq to transfer their personal items to their movable property especially their vehicles, to the new site. No Iraqi armed forces must be inside the new camp, whatever the reason or the pretext. International attention must be conveyed to this operation. I think that members of parliament and international personalities, as those who are here today, must be allowed as observers to these operations. I am ready. Ashraf, we won't let you down. Iran must be free, and may the time of this freedom be this year, 2012.
Thank you very much, Senator.